Hello, guys. Welcome back to SWS Boxing. Delighted to get on John Tretheway ahead of his show this Friday. And yes, John, how have you been?
I'm good, mate. How are you? I've missed you.
All good, John. And yeah. So we'll start off with who should we start off with? Should we start off with JP O'Meara? He's boxing Fernando Duran over 6 rounds. Talk about that fight.
Yeah, I'm excited to have JP back. He's been out for a little while. We had his debut. For those that remember, he weighed in on his debut. At the time he broke a record for anyone who sold tickets at any show on a TM14 show, and I think we're on about our 45th show now. So we've had one or two more since, but at the time it was monster. And the fellow who weighed in then decided to go home. That's another story, and probably a different conversation. So he didn't fight that night, but we rolled all the tickets over to the following fight, which was a few weeks later, if memory served me
In
right. And he packed them.
October.
Was it October? You always know the numbers and the dates and that, Sam. Well done. If we do so many shows, I forget which one it was. But yeah, fair play. He sold it out. He's a great talent as well. Very, very good talent. Lovely lad. And sells a load of tickets. So we expect a good show from him. I think he's 3-0 now.
I
Um,
mean, he fought on the Wasserman show, didn't he? Against Carl Sampson. That was a tricky fight for him, but he got through it.
Yeah, it was a tricky fight. Memory serves me right. Maybe did he get dropped in the first round or something happened? Yeah, it
Yeah.
wasn't ideal for him. But do you know what? They're brilliant, Sam, because they're learning fights. Did they want to get dropped in a fight? No. Will he have learned from it? Yes. So we know how good a talent he is, and we're just pleased to have him back. That was a Channel 5 show on a Wasserman, as you said. Fighters tend to move around, and it's good to have him back with us.
And he's got a tricky opponent, Duran, who's fought a few times in the UK.
Yeah, some of these like foreign fighters, they are tough, tough fighters, Sam. When you see someone fighting South Americans, Europeans, they're not here for easy fights. They're tough, tough, durable people. So probably a step up for him. I know he lost a round and got knocked down in that round against Samson, as you said, but this should be a step up, and we expect him to come through unscathed. And we look forward to hopefully getting some more shows of him or watching whatever he does next.
And yeah, you've got four rounds between Ross Driscoll against Lee Hallett. Of course, Ross was I believe he got a stoppage in September on his debut against Carl Sampson.
Yeah, Ross, he had his debut with us on a York Hall show, obviously. So it's great to have his second fight there. He looked great. He looked very impressive. He's now fighting Lee Hallett. Never look at records and think, oh, that's how it'll pan out. Lee Hallett is arguably, he needs to buy me a beer for this comment, but in my opinion, he's probably the best journeyman out there on the circuit. He knows what he's there to do. He's awkward. He gives a test. Ross will definitely be put through his paces and give a test early doors to see how he can deal with that. But that'll all be good for him in his development and moving forward. But we expect Ross to win that.
100%, and it's yeah, it's his second fight, isn't it, Ross? Then
Yeah, absolutely. A
yeah,
good kid, sells a good ticket. Really, really good boxer, to be fair. So, looking forward to this one.
he brung quite a good crowd with him on his debut, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. And there's a few of them on this card that we think are going to sell well. Ross will be one of them. I'm going to have an issue on Thursday sorting the running order because sometimes you look at a show and we always sort the running order out on a Thursday and who's the main event because we do it fairly by who sells the most tickets. But there's a few that sell a lot of tickets here. So, yeah, it should be a busy night at York Hall.
Good to hear. And yeah, should we talk about Brad Axe v Jensen Irvin, that 6 rounds. Of course Brad unfortunately came up short in his fight on the 7v7 card over in USA, but it was a great fight with Brad, wasn't it? It was close other than the when he got put down, wasn't it?
Yeah, look, I have a soft spot for Brad. Let's be honest. He lives not far from me. He trains in a gym in the town I live, Sandwich, and I live up near like Milton Keynes Way, not even in the main town. So it's very quiet where I live. So immediately I'm like, oh, he's local to me, and we don't get boxes up this way very often because we're not down in London. He had his debut on a top tier show and he won that. I don't think he thought it was his best performance. And then, do you know what? He was due to go out on a York Hall show with us on the second fight. And as you know, we did a groundbreaking show that we did in Texas out there. We did that with Fight Zone and Dennis Hobson, which was fantastic for us. And I needed to go and match people. And I thought, you know what? I reckon Brad will fancy these fights. And bearing in mind he was 1-0, and I think Julian Delgado was 4-0. he sold the most tickets out there, Delgado, and he was labelled as a top talent. And I think he was 4-0. And I rang Brad and I went, listen, you're on the Your Call show. No problem there. You're safe on that show. If you fancy it, let's go a week before. I can't remember if it was a week before, a week. No, it was the same night. It was the same night. I had a show the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
night. You know, it was the first show and the only show, hopefully, that I ever miss
Because
of
that's
me
when
own.
Oakford was boxing Miller.
That's right. Yeah, that was for the Commonwealth Silver. Good fight that. But I rang Brad. This was about 5 weeks, 4 weeks before the fight. I went, look, you can even fight at York Hall, or you can come to Texas and fight this 4-0. I'll be honest with you, I could not even finish my sentence, and he went, I'm coming. I was like, whoa, this sounds good. Why don't you ring your coach and your manager? And he was like, no, I'm all right. He rang his coach and his manager, and the answer didn't change. And he came over there and he did brilliant. The fella was a bit more experienced. We were in their backyard over there. That show was fantastic for us over there. It was 3-all. It ended up being 6v6 because a fight fell out while we were out there, which was a
Oh
bit
yeah.
frustrating. It was 7v7. You got it right, but for one reason or another on medicals, it didn't go ahead the seventh fight.
Yeah.
But a bit more experience for Brad, and I think he would have won that fight. You know, he's got balls for taking it. But a lot of fighters, Sam, you know, they get in the sport when they put the gloves on and they're like, I want to be a world champion, I want to be a British champion, I want to fight in America, I want to fight abroad, and the opportunity was too much for him to turn down. But you know, he's already talking to me about coming there next one's like abroad. We got stuff lined up next year, two, three, maybe four fights abroad, same kind of concept, which is very exciting for the fighters
Oh.
that we look after, and I'm sure he'll come with us. But let's get through this one first. He's fighting Jensen Irvin, who's a very experienced journeyman. I expect Jensen to give him some tests. But I expect Brad to come through this, and I want Brad to look really good. And let's see what happens, and then we help move him on with his career, because I still think Brad, just because he's lost his second fight, no other fighter, Sam, does that. One of those would be like, I ain't going in there against the 4-0 in another country against a Mexican fighter, which it was. You know, some people would say it's crazy, but he will have learned from that fight, and he's told me that already more than anything he's learned, and that will help him in this fight and the upcoming fights after.
And Jensen's a good opponent for him as well.
I think so. Yeah. Listen, Jensen will definitely give him a test. Jensen will come to win. Uh, but I expect Brad to have a bit too much skills. And as I said, that learning in that last fight should put him in good stead to come through that. And it's a 6 rounder. I think his first fight was a 4 rounder. The fight in Texas was a 4 rounder. So it's a step up in rounds. And I've watched him down the gym because he's local. He's got a good engine and he trains hard. So I don't think the 6 rounds will be a problem. And I expect him to win in style. You know, if you're asking me for a prediction on it, I expect him to be a shutout 60-54. No pressure on Brad, of course.
And yeah, another good fight between James Hawley and Luke Blackledge. 6 rounds, this one.
Yeah, Luke's got a good winning record. You'll be the expert there as usual, Sam, and tell me exactly what it is. James Hawley's hard to match. You know, is James 11 or 12-0 now? He's a very, very good prospect, James. Um, he's now signed with the Nilsons. They manage him, and obviously we work with the Nilsons very closely. We're good friends, so it's about developing James together and getting him ready for the big 50-50 fights. And I think this fight is that fight. I think he comes through this hopefully unscathed. I think again, I'd expect him to win this by a shutout. You know, he might lose the odd round, but who knows? He might even get a stoppage. And then let's look forward to the new year with James. As I said, we've got some massive shows coming up that are due to be announced, and I mean big shows. They're not just at your call, and I'd expect to be see James in one of them in a 50-50.
100%. Gideon Antwi.
Yeah, I missed Gideon's debut. You know, that was when I was in Texas. It was the same night as the show you were on about before. His amateur pedigree is like ridiculously good. The noise around him is amazing. I did watch bits of it. I actually watched it on the day because the show in Texas, they were like 5 hours behind. So I was getting myself ready and looking pretty like you do in the day, watching that before I went to the arena. And what I saw is he technically looks good. You know, this is another step up there. So it's it's a durable. He's fighting Milan Paunov. That's been made today and passed. We've had a bit of a problem matching him. Heavyweights aren't the easiest to match, but he's done. He's dusted. This guy will test him. Again, it's only another 4 rounder. He's not stepping up to a 6 rounder yet. So let's see what we can get from Gideon. I'm hoping for a slightly better performance. I think he was good last time,
It was a
but
scrappy
maybe.
fight though, wasn't it, against Mwaka?
Yeah, it was a bit, and Uwaka's a bit scrappy. To be fair, that's no disrespect to Uwaka. You know, some journeymen, like I said, they're good. They come for a fight. They can make things awkward. They can make you look bad, and I don't think that we saw the best of Gideon that night. Again, no pressure, and I would expect to see a much more polished performance from Gideon without the pressure of his debut. And again, I'm hearing he sold a good load of tickets, so we look forward to seeing him on Friday.
100%. Harvey Smith v Adam Yaha, 6 rounds this one.
Yeah, this kid's a big talent. You know, there's a few fighters that we've got around this weight, like bantamweight, super bantam, that could even maybe make super fly. He had his debut on a top tier show. He then came down on R1 last time. I'll be honest, I was ridiculously impressed with him. Sometimes when I'm at my own shows, Sam, I'm sat there and people distract me, or there's a problem and I have to run off, or I've got people talking to me, which I love because I'm a good talker, as you know. But I sat and watched that fight with his manager, Leon Sudbury, and it was a very, very good polished performance. And hats off to him, because Leon and I were chatting around, let's get through the third fight. And then they're already looking on to the new year in some of these big shows that are going to be announced, where maybe he'll take a 50-50. I expect him to come through here, but this is another test. There aren't a ton of fights available at that weight for journeymen, so they have to step up quite early. It's a bit like the female fighters sometimes. There's not
Yeah.
loads of them, so you have to take the fights a bit earlier than maybe some of the men do it, like your lightweights, your welterweights, your super welter, for example, your middleweights. I expect this to be a great performance. Technically, he was great, sells a good ticket, likable lad, very popular. He's a real deal. As I say, there's two or three other fighters out there, that I won't mention them now, but I will be looking to see if Leon wants to put him in with some of them in the new year.
At what weight? Bantamweight.
Yeah, I think he fights a bantam. He can fight a super bantam. He could probably. I don't know for definite. He might even be able to get down to super fly. I'm not sure he'll get down that low, but there are two or three fights out there, maybe four. Some a bit more experience, which they'll fancy. Some with a similar record. I will chuck the names out, like Nathan Brown. I like that fight, or Nathan Gonzalez of some course. Jack Williams. It's interesting. Jack Williams. He's from Ipswich. He fought on our Ipswich show, and that wasn't filmed that night because of Dennis Hobson and Fight Zone had a
He's
show up
currently
north in Sheffield.
1-0, isn't he, Jack?
He is, but the show wasn't filmed because we're normally filmed on Fight Zone and Talksport. But that night, Dennis Hobson, who owns Fight Zone, they had a show in Sheffield. So he was a bit selfish there, bad Dennis, that he put his show on instead of mine. Only joking, of course. So it hasn't been showcased, but he looked the real deal. And the noises I hear around the gym, Jack Williams, Harvey Smith, they are the boys at that weight, certainly in the southern part of the country. So these are great fights along with Nathan that can be made. I've got Jack Hughes out there. He's our fighter, obviously, we
Yeah,
look
Jack.
after. He's hinted a bit. I'm sure you've seen it online on social media, but he'll be back. Jack's got some ambitions to fight abroad, which is great. But listen, if people can get past Jack Hughes, then they're in a good place. So Jack might be in the mix there with some of them fighters, but very, very good fighter, Harvey Smith, indeed.
hmm Um, got who I was gonna. Oh, Arnie Dawson. Of course, he's coming off a good stoppage win in America. I mean, that guy in America said he would stop Arnie, but it ended up the other way. Arnie stopped him. Arnie's boxing Giorgio Veletkov.
Yeah, look, Arnie, again, he's biased. He's out of my gym, as we know. He's exceptionally good. I'm sure he won't mind me saying this. I was on the phone to him earlier. He's very quiet, almost choir boy like. He's very polite. He's very professional. He's very respectful. He doesn't trash talk. He just goes about his business with his coaches very well. He was good, but I think he's come of age. He was 3-0 with one knockout. And then again, I took him to Texas and I was like, I just gave him a fight. He went, I'll have that. That fell through. That was a 5-0 fighter over there, but they pulled out injured. Then I gave him someone with a winning record again going to Texas. He was like, I'll have it. No messing around. And I wouldn't lie there. He went, I'll have it. I don't even think they checked, to be fair. I was like, well, look, I feel pressure here that I'm going to put you in a fight that you ain't looked at. But he went out there and he stopped him.
Yeah.
Stopping any fighter, Sam, is a big thing. Stopping a fighter with a winning record in their backyard in Texas, and he was a Mexican-born fighter. And the noises I'm hearing, I have seen Arnie since briefly down the gym, but it was a few months ago now that we were over in Texas, and it was a great week for everyone there. But the noises I'm hearing and the people he's sparring and things that have happened, I think the confidence has grown with Arnie. Um, and I'm quite excited about what Arnie can bring us. He's 4-0 now with two knockouts because of that one. This fella, again, a foreign fighter coming in. Let's see what they can do. He's fought some British fighters. He's fought the Mexican fighter. They bring something different. Um, yeah, let's see how it pans out. But no pressure again. I expect him to come through. And we got some big shows abroad, a few of them next year, which I would expect Arnie to be involved with, and maybe some of the ones back here.
Good stuff. Mitchell Smith.
Hmm. Now, Mitchell, I love you, mate. If you're watching this, officially the hardest man I've ever had to match. 16-1, Sam. Correct me if I'm wrong. You're the man. 16-1 with 9 knockouts. And I think he used to campaign at like featherweight and super featherweight. You don't knock people out like that at that weight unless you're good. Heavyweights and cruiserweights might have very, very good knockout ratios because of their size. Most of the fights on Frank Warren, if you look at the show reels, he's amazing. I don't think he's fought for 2, 3 years. He won't mind me saying he was 100 kilos. Well, he might mind me saying 100 kilos, and I think that's more than what I weigh now. And I put a couple of pounds on myself. So he's lost all that, and he's down to like 140, 142 pounds in about 3, 4 months. So the best Mitchell Smith was an absolute talent. Let's go and see what you can do again. He's taken on a fighter. He's 2-2, who he's taking on. He ain't fought for a while. It's so easy to take on a fighter that's like 1-38 or 4-52. He's been hard to match, to be fair. He's had to take what he gets given in the end because
Yeah.
no one will fight him. And everyone who does want to fight him uh, or will fight him is quoting astronomical fees. I tried to match him last night with a fighter and offered more money than the fight he's being paid a following week on a matchroom show, boxer show. And boxer would clearly play more than what we would, and they still turned it down. But we got him matched. We got him matched today. He's caused me a big headache, but he sells a lot of tickets. He's a top class talent, and yeah, like, he'll probably be on co-main support. We could argue probably putting him on last, but he ain't fought for a couple of years, and there's one or two 50-50s that you haven't mentioned yet that probably deserve top billing. But yeah, I am excited to have Mitchell on our show for the first time. As I said, he sold a lot of tickets, and I think the place will be rocking because he's on there.
hmm And yeah, we'll mention it now. Ollie Duffy v Matt King. Of course, Ollie boxed in America as well. Matt King last fought in Bassi on your show, which was a good fight with Inda. Yeah, talk about that fight.
Yeah, this is a cracking fight, this, Sam. I really like the fight. As I said, there's some good 50-50s. Ollie Duffy's our guy. Again, he's out of our gym. What is he now? Help me out, Sam. 5-0? Yes, I do know my numbers. 5-0. He went out to
He might. I don't know,
Texas.
I'll double check. He might be six now. You see.
Yeah, do you know what? I think you might be right. It might be 6, but he's either 5 or 6. He came out with us. I think it is 6, actually. Double check it. But he came out with us to Texas. Really cool
Six now.
character. It is 6 now. Well done. Sorry. He came out as really cool character when we were out in Texas. He was the most laid back guy out there. Bearing in mind we were in their backyard. There was a bit of an issue at the weigh-in with the weight. The other fella came in a lot heavier, and it
Mm.
got a bit heated, which would have been good if we had it on a fly on the wall, but we didn't. Um, but he got the win. I felt he started a bit slow in that fight. I sat with his dad ringside after round 1, and his dad was like, "What do you think?" Bearing in mind his dad's gone all the way out to Texas. I was like, "Yeah, I think he won that round, but he might need to get into it." But as the rounds went on, he didn't get the stoppage, but he convincingly won that fight again in their backyard.
Mm.
Um, so we expect good things from Ollie. Now, as for Matt King fought in a southern area, super lightweight fight. He got stopped in the first round, I think, on a Goodwin show because of a cut heads. The opponent, Goodwin fighter, had a cut.
Dennis
So,
Jidakayev.
say again.
Dennis Jidakayev, I think
De-
it was.
Dennis Dekiev, or I say Dekiev, I probably got it wrong. You probably got it right, but yeah, spot on. So it was a no contest. So that was a Southern Area title fight. We then offered the fight against Inda at welterweight in a non-title fight. That's a step up. Now we rate Inda. Again, he's our guy, but Inda won the Southern Area title in fashion. He defended it in fashion. There
Yeah.
was a cut in both fights for different fighters, but he showed where he's at. Inda then went and fought Sean Noakes on a big O2 show, and he
Yeah.
came up a bit short on that night. And maybe I'm a bit biased. I like Sean. I know Sean. Sean's a great guy, but I don't think we saw the best of Inda that night. So I still felt right result. Sean won that fight fair and square. Let's have that right. But I think there's more from Inda, and I think Inda's better than what he showed that night. And Matt King turned up, so he maybe stepped up a weight, and he nicked 2 rounds off Inda, and Inda got cut. And I was like, fair play, Matt King. That shows the level Matt's at. And his record says that. Matt's fought some great fighters. He's got a winning record. He's a good guy himself.
hmm
Sorry. So good fight for Matt. And that was at Inda at welter. This is a few pounds less now against Dolly, who's not got the
Is this
experience.
Winder's stable, mate, Ollie?
Correct. Yeah, they're in the same gym together in the Peacock. So I'm not saying Inda struggled there. I think Inda needed that test. He came back after that defeat. It was a six rounder. He hadn't fought for a while. He got cut. He got tested. But what it shows is Matt is game and good. Yeah. So Inder's more experienced and he's won titles and he's fought for an English level. Ollie hasn't got to that level yet. I know he will get there. I 100% know that. But Matt will bring some tests to Ollie, who's a bit smaller than Inder. But it's a great opportunity for Ollie because I'm sure, like in gyms, like if Ollie goes and puts a statement fight on, what does that show how good Ollie is? Equally, can he handle what Matt will bring? But I expect Ollie to come through that. I know Matt and his team really well. They're friends of mine, but Ollie's our guy, so we back him all the way. And that will be a great fight.
Top fight that one. And yeah, almost like well, the main event. It's basically a mini TM14V Nielsen sort of fight at the top of the bill between Billy Allington and Rashid Omar. Yes, over 6 rounds. You know, Billy, former English and Southern Area champion. Rashid, former. I'm not sure if he still has the Welsh title, but yeah.
I think he does. Yeah, yeah. Spot on, Sam. Again, as always, you know your stuff. Well done, mate. I believe he's still the current Welsh champion because no one else has fought for it. I don't think he's had a fight for that belt for a while, but he does hold the Welsh title. And either way, he's had it. And Billy has had the English title. So the level these two lads are at, do you know what? Sometimes you look at fights and think, you know, how did I get that fight when there's no title on the line? It's an absolute cracker. And styles make fights, you know. Rashid is strong and hard and will come forward and have a go. He's in the away corner. He probably won't have too many fans there because he's coming from Wales. No offence to him. Billy's obviously the Londoner or the Southerner, at least. He's originally from Stainsway, Egham, but he's now living out of Essex. But he'll have more fans there. He's much more experienced. Look, again, I'm biased because Billy's my guy. He's my friend. He's out of my gym. Um, he made Dalton Smith look ordinary. You know, I believe that anyone who watches Dalton Smith's career, and most people now, if you watch stuff on Instagram, they'll say Dalton Smith would beat Adam Azim. I'm not sure of that myself, but certainly right now, a lot of people are saying that
Yeah.
Dalton Smith is arguably a world champion in waiting. And even if you look at the interviews after with Dalton, he was like, I didn't expect that. I remember watching stuff with Eddie Hearn after saying how good Billy is. You know, after that fight, I don't know if it was the next one. I think maybe we had a fight with him. I can't remember, but he then went out to America, Canada,
Hmm.
and again, I'm close with the gym, so I hear what's going on, and I'm like, "What's going on with Billy? Are we going to get him out? Is he going on a bigger show? Is he getting another shot at a bigger title that maybe we can't get?" And the next thing I hear, he's fighting a 12-0 undefeated fella in Canada for, you'll have it there.
Oh,
Is it an IBO Continental? Maybe
IBO International, but yeah.
international. My
And
apologies.
he also because he fought Mendoza on your show after Dalton, then he fought Henry Turner, and then he fought the fight. Yeah, because he fought Henry Turner for the WBC International Silver title, and then he fought the fight in Canada, which was his last fight.
Yeah, so he looked good against Mendoza, who, by the way, is excellent. Mendoza, he is tough as they come. Shame he's not over at the moment. I think he's gone back to South America where he's from, but he was excellent. But then he didn't turn up. You know, he is my friend, but I'll say how it is. He might not like it, but I was there. I was watching at ringside against Henry Turner, and it was disappointing because that wasn't the Billy I know. Now I'm not sure why that was. Maybe that's because Henry was very good. Maybe it's because Billy weren't at his best. But you then come back from that fight and go and win that title in Canada. And that was a big show out there. And he won it in style. You've got the points, probably results in front of you, all three judges, Sam. And I think there was quite a few points in each area. It wasn't like it was close. He won it fair and square. He's been in.
97, 93. Hang on, let me get them up. 97, 90. Ah, I've lost it now. 97, 93 twice, 98, 92.
Yeah, that's convincing, right? You don't get much better than that on away soil in a foreign country for a title like that. And I think he went out there probably with his dad, maybe his sister, a few people from the Peacock Gym and his team, and he come back with a belt. And I got to be honest, I was the first when I read it. I didn't watch the fight. I got up in the morning and I was like jumping when I got out of bed because I was like, "Go on, Billy, that's superb." He is a class talent, Billy. He's very different kind of fighter. He can be awkward technically. When you get the best version of Billy, he's excellent. Like when he was on my second show at Brentwood and he won the English title against Jamie Robinson.
Yeah.
And I felt that if it went to a brawl, Jamie might outbrawl him. But he showed a different aspect there. He's got power. He can stand and trade. He's definitely a good boxer. Technically, he's much better than what people say. He can be awkward. If you get the best version of Billy, he's excellent, and I expect Billy to come through. I'm certainly going to back him, but he's going to get a test here like he's had in any other fight. And the Nilsons will hope that they win, but they won't. As much as I love them as well.
So you gonna say another win for TM14 on this one?
Yeah, listen, Sam, we beat them all the time, right? They're getting used to it now, yeah. So we got some big shows to announce, like Promoters Colliding last time coming up, and it'll be the same every time, mate. So go on, Billy. But we love Rashid as well. Rashid, by the way, if you're not aware, he made his debut on our show when we did it in Wales
Oh
about two and
yeah.
a half, 3 years ago. So we know Rashid, and he's a lovely, lovely guy. And look, best of luck to both fighters. We have our fighter, they have their fighter, but we're all friends. All fighters are friends, and all promotional companies are friends. But it's
And
nice to
and
have a little bit of rivalry on.
it'll be a good fight as well for that main event.
Yeah, I think so. Listen, as I said, I think styles make fights. I think Rashid will come and have a go, and he's quite tough and durable. Billy's got the experience and the technical ability, but as I've just mentioned, we've seen he's tried and tested. Billy can brawl when he needs to, and Billy has the experience, so Billy should win this.
And yeah, thank you for your time, John, and good luck with the show on Friday.
No worries, Sam. Hopefully, see you there. All the best.
And you, John. Bye.
Cheers.